That barrel on the stairs, the one full of forgetting, headed for the water every soul in the silo drinks, that is the shot this episode wants you to lose sleep over. Because while 10,000 people argue over whether their mayor is a hero, the ones managing her recovery are asking a much colder question about her, and they already have an answer they are not sharing. This is Apple's flagship dystopia, adapted from Hugh Howey's novels, with Rebecca Ferguson starring and executive producing, and Season 3 has stopped playing coy about who is really in charge. So take the question at face value, because the show finally does. Why is the silo keeping Juliette alive? In the last 90 seconds of this episode, a machine says the quiet part out loud. Juliette Nichols is alive because she is useful, and she will be removed the moment she is not. That is the answer to why the silo keeps its amnesiac mayor breathing. And it comes not from a villain's monologue, but from the algorithm, the entity Camille Sims reports to at night like a shift worker filing logs. The final image of the hour is not her at all. It is a crew of sweating workers hauling a huge blue barrel up the stairs, a memory-erasing compound bound for the silo's entire water supply. Juliette spent the whole episode learning to spit out her pills one dose at a time. The authorities answered by deciding to dose everyone at once. So the real question is sharper than the obvious one. Not why is she alive, but why is she still alive when the machine managing her recovery openly describes her as a problem with an expiration date? The episode buries its answer in 3 places: a burned note, a helmet with the wrong number on it, and a doctor from before the end of the world cheerfully explaining how you rebuild a human being from spare parts. Start with the lie, because the episode does. Camille comes home, smells smoke, and Juliette tells her she reheated pizza, when the truth is she burned the note summoning her to the marketplace, the note that ended the last episode. Camille carries that lie straight to a circular chamber, and the algorithm's reaction is the most revealing dialogue of the hour. The note itself is not of grave concern, it says. The lie is, because the medication can only erase what was, and if Juliette does not trust the new narrative, they have a very different problem. Then it hands Camille her actual job title. You are the narrator she needs to trust. Not guard, not nurse, narrator. It cites 352 years of data, 6 silos that have successfully undergone full resets, including this one 140 years ago. And it files Juliette under Outliers, the rare minds that need extended treatment. The prescription, 2 more weeks of medication, a tighter security detail, and doubled effort to convince Juliette that Camille is her most trusted ally. Meanwhile, in the before times, the show runs the same experiment with the mask off. Congressman Daniel Keene sits at his sister Charlotte's bedside, feeding her their parents' names and the story of the 2 bulldogs that chased them, while the decorated naval aviator stares at him like a stranger and apologizes, calling him Donald. Readers of Hugh Howey's novels felt that name land, and that is all I am going to say about it. Charlotte's doctor, Viktor Krunkovich, explains his method with terrifying warmth. The medication is a drawbridge between her and her memories, and once she is stronger, they will lower the bridge and actually choose, which memories come back. He offers Daniel the chance to leave out the trauma of the Iran mission entirely, and when Daniel asks whether you could implant a lie, Victor says yes, with time and great effort, because real memories ignite faster. Reporter Helen Drew supplies the footnote Victor leaves out of his sales pitch. His first trial ran on prisoners in countries too indebted to refuse, his second on military recruits who got no say, and now one man decides what people remember. Put the 2 timelines side by side and the architecture is unmistakable. Victor's bedside method, scaled up and automated, is the silo's operating system, and this episode is showing you the patent application. Now watch Juliette work the problem, because the woman the protocol erased keeps leaking through anyway. She asserts herself for the first time all season, I'm the mayor, this is my security, and heads down to where the crew is rebuilding the stairs. There, one of the mechanical crew tells her that during the rebellion, a man came down claiming to be Bernard's shadow, saying someone had seen Juliette go inside somewhere beyond the hill, and that surely took him to the Digger Void, where he searched for something he refused to name. The man's name was Lucas Kyle, and it is the single best lead the episode hands her. The same conversation delivers the saddest ledger entry of the hour. Shirley ran up 144 levels to wait for Juliette's first public appearance, and when her turn finally came, Juliette looked straight through her. Then Martha arrives, and Martha does not do bedside manner. She reads Juliette her own words back. "You wanted the truth is, I love you, have no fear, they're good in supply." That is the note from Juliette's cleaning in the season 1 finale. When Martha made sure her suit was sealed with Supply's good heat tape instead of IT's sabotage stock, the reason there was a body left to wipe. The woman who wrote that note engineered her own miracle. The woman hearing it now cannot even place the bond it proves. Martha's verdict is blunt and correct. Stop being a victim of your amnesia and fight to remember. You can drug the brain, but you cannot drug the gut. The fight begins that night. Juliette steers her security detail into the crowded marketplace at 2 o'clock. A scuffle erupts between the guards and the citizens, and a figure in tactical gear uses the chaos to pull her out of the crowd. The hidden enclave she is led to is not a fan club. Patrick Kennedy, Danny, and Sandy, 3 fugitives from her past, tell her that before the wipe she strong-armed them and upended their lives. Then Patrick goes further. She saw a lush green world out there, birds and flowers, and she is lying to the entire silo about it. And then comes the evidence no medication can argue with. A helmet from her excursion marked with the number 17, when everything the silo's IT department uses is marked 18. Before anyone can pull that thread, judicial forces under Emerson crash the meeting, the fugitives scatter, and Juliette is rescued back into her glass cage. The rest of the hour is her quietly assembling a case against her own reality. Evelyn, a young survivor, shows her a tattoo matching the geometric scars on Juliette's own body and tells her the survivors see her as the hero who came back so they would not lose hope. She palms Nurse Amy's vitamins and spits them out. And alone in the night cafeteria, she frames the stars with her hands, the patterns matching her scars and the relics she once held. At her kitchen sink, she strikes a match and holds it over the drain because she has learned the first rule of her new life: whatever you keep, they find. And then the episode cuts to Camille, alone in the chamber, and lets the machine finish the argument. 3 readings of why the silo keeps her alive, and the episode arms every one of them. Reading 1. Mercy. Camille and the Protocol are shielding Juliette from a truth that already nearly killed her once. Its best evidence is on screen in the before times, where Victor tells Daniel he has a choice not to cripple Charlotte with the whole truth, and the show plays selective forgetting as a brother's kindness. Camille sells it too. Her frustration with the algorithm, you said a month, 2 at most, is the sound of a person, not a jailer. But Mercy dies on dialogue. The episode shows us directly. The algorithm orders the medication extended, the security tightened, and the trust manufactured. And Mercy does not come with a surveillance detail and a removal clause. Whatever Camille feels, the protocol she serves is not protecting Juliette from the truth, it is protecting the silo from Juliette. Reading 2, The Outlier, the drug is failing, and every artifact she touches pulls a memory back. The algorithm itself says her dream proves her return, survives in her unconscious, and files her as an outlier requiring extended treatment. She spits the pills, the number 17 helmet passes through her hands, the stars match her scars, and Victor's lecture in the other timeline supplies the mechanism. Memory lives in the body, and objects are shortcuts that reignite the old pathways. He even puts a number on it. 10% of the time, the rebuild simply does not work, and everything Juliette does this hour says she is the 10%. But the outlier reading answers how she resists, not why she is allowed to. A failing treatment explains the extra weeks of pills, not a months-long bedside vigil for the regime's single most dangerous citizen. Reading 3, The Test Case. Juliette was never the point. She is the pilot run for erasing the entire silo through the water. The barrels in the final scene make this feel prophetic. and the editing is deliberate. Her match over the drain cuts almost directly against a compound rolling toward the water supply. But the episode's own script sinks the word pilot. The algorithm cites 352 years of protocol data and 6 full silo resets, including this very silo 140 years ago. We have already seen that receipt back in Season 2, when Bernard told Lucas that Salvador Quinn drugged the water and erased the silo's history 140 years ago to save it. So mass forgetting is not an experiment that needs Juliette to prove out. It is a reprint of the oldest trick the Founders own. What survives of the test case reading is informed speculation, and nothing on screen confirms it yet, but every clue points one way. Her resistance is not what makes the reset possible, it is what makes the reset urgent. Which leaves a fourth answer, the one the machine gives when it thinks it is only talking to Camille. Juliette Nichols is alive because she is a calming value, and the verdict is that the algorithm means exactly that. Last episode, the answer to who took her memory was the silo itself. Camille's hands, the algorithm's orders, the Founder's design, and this episode explains why the silo kept the body that memory used to live in. A dead Juliette is a martyr, and this place has already bled for her once. A living, smiling, amnesiac Juliette is an anesthetic. Evelyn says it from below, the survivors keep hoping because the hero came back, and the algorithm says it from above, she keeps the population calm. Both ends of the silo agree on her function. They only disagree on whether it is sacred. That is why the mercy is real and worthless at the same time. Camille can be genuinely kind all day long, because kindness is the delivery mechanism, exactly as Victor teaches it in the Before Times, where erasure arrives with a warm voice, a drawbridge metaphor, and your favorite story about 2 angry bulldogs. The protocol does not need Juliette cured, it needs her convincing, right up until the barrels reach the water and 10,000 people wake up as calm as she is supposed to be. The moment the whole silo forgets together, nobody needs the living proof anymore, and the same sentence that keeps her alive is the one that schedules her removal. Her one advantage is the flaw the machine already flagged. The protocol works on what people remember, and Juliette has started fighting with what her body knows, scars that map the stars, hands that reject the pills, a match held over the drain. Martha told her to stop being a victim of her amnesia, and by the last scene she is not a victim. She is an insurgent on a 2-week clock she does not even know is running. The silo is keeping Juliette alive, the way you keep a lighthouse lit while you drain the sea. She burns exactly as long as there is something left out there to warn people about, and not 1 minute longer. The silo's answer to Juliette is the same answer it gives every problem it cannot shoot, manage the story, and the unsettling part is how well that works on everyone who is not her. Which leaves the real cliffhanger in your lap. The barrels are on the stairs, the pills are down the drain, and only one of those tricks can keep working. So stand at her kitchen sink and answer the question this episode is really asking. When the compound reaches the taps, would you drink the water or would you fight to remember? Make sure to subscribe now so you do not miss our deep dive breakdown of the next Silo episode. Argue with me in the comments. Is Camille Juliette's jailer, her shield, or just the next person the machine no longer needs?